as you can see, the goal is to try to just record the debugging session of the to-do app that we built, because yeah, we didn't complete it. So yeah, my goal is to just try to debug it and see where the problem is. So I'm going to share my screen, and yeah, I'm going to share my screen a bit. And so this is where we left off, right? Was showing me this error. So basically, all the to-dos are being created, which is something that is good. So another interesting thing is that it is updating the to-do, but some error is being thrown when you click on the input element on key down, right? So, and the error that is showing me is saying that failed to execute replace with on element. The node to be removed is no longer a child of the node. Perhaps it was removed on a blow event handler. So, man, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix this, but let's just look into our code to see what we are doing. So we have these tests to do, but I believe that the problem is coming first from this to do in itself. This to do is not behaving the way it should behave. There's something wrong with this on key down here. Can't say exactly what, but so I'm just going to try to debug as much as I can, right? Debug this as much as I can. So basically, there's this, yeah, there's a make here, the UI here. We're keeping the input here, and this input contains, we have, basically we don't even need this type though, but at least we have this ID here. I have this placeholder enter to do, and we have this button. So there's this. So I think what we can do is I can also try to save this button in a way, UI.hard, and save this as well. So there is the UI.hard. So we have form. Yeah, we have input, we have the hard, and we have to do's. Those are the things that were stored inside the UI. Then so we go ahead to create our to do, and we do the delete, right? To do, which is like the first major thing that we are doing. Then under the delete, we have the key down event. And what the key down event is doing is the key down event is switching between our event.key, and once the event.key is enter, it does this whole process. It sets the text content, just assigning basically whatever the value of this is, it assigns it to a single to do that we have, and it also assigns it to the UI as well. So just doing the assignment 3 times. That's basically what is happening there. And when you press the escape button, we're trying to blur things out. And yeah, another thing that we are doing is we have the cancel, right? We are replacing with text anytime you cancel. And then we're also, creating the edit input where you want to save, right? You have this style that we're applying. Then we have this on key down that we are touching here. So what would have done is to make sure that this on key down, let me use the same name for the event. So let's just copy this down to be the same. And we have our value, and then we have our cancel on blur, which will happen on blur. Then we have the replace with, right? That is, you're replacing the text UI with the input you created. You're setting focus on the input, and you're doing a disable, and you're doing a style that can help us to. And eventually we are creating our li alongside with the style of display flex, right? You're putting the display flex on the li, and we are then saving the text into yeah, we're saving the text, into this variable, that is this span, into this text, and we are saving the make into this x here, and we are returning this. So this covers like for the whole to do process. So and immediately after the whole to do process, we have the hard. So the hard prevents default, which is like the process of adding a button. When you add a button, you're preventing the form from submitting automatically yourself. We have the UI, which we're getting from our input. So if there's no text pass, right, you want to return, stop the execution. But if they're passing a text, which is use the text to create it to do, right, completed to be false and ID to be this, and you're pushing the value into our you're pushing the value into you're pushing whatever to do that is being created into the state.todos, and then we are doing a UI.append. We're doing a UI.append or prepend, basically the creation of the to do. I think, and yeah, and then eventually we have the render function. And so let's try to play with this one more time inside of our app. To do one, and we want to update this. So you want to update this to use your to do. So let's go down a little bit on this one. Let's go down on and go down on the to do. Control Shift high. And yeah, we have this to do one, and then we can update it. So it's showing this error where on cut DOM exception failed to execute replace. So I guess that this is firing because of this switch. There's a switch here which is supposed to just do one thing. I don't think, I know I was doubting this line before. This editing input is the one that is causing that whole thing to trigger. So we can do to do one, and you want to update it and say updated. But the problem is that if I don't strike the enter, if I strike the enter is not working, and it's until I is until I is until I use it's until I leave the focus before it is updated. And if you leave the focus, it updates. But our enter is sort of not working. So to make our enter work, what do we do? Yeah, so still here debugging, but I found that breaking the way I wrote this switch, there's a switch statement here. So removing the break, removing this break here, sort of like when it breaks here, breaks sort of like goes out of, like, it stops the execution of this, like it stopped the execution of that whole thing. Right. So yeah, I commented out the break and I commented out the replacement because eventually, right, after it has entered into this enter here, it will eventually carry down and perform an unblur by itself. After the enter, it will trigger the unblur by itself. So that's why if you check the app now, right, if you have to do, that's the first to do. If you click on updated and you just do enter, it works. So apparently the break was breaking it. So I can do it again here, right? Which updates it again there. And yeah, this is what knowing. I don't like this flex though. The flex, I think we can set the display flex to be align. I think align center. Yeah, so align center basically you can see place content. I think place items should work. Let's try place item. Let's just try place item here. Let's take this out. And you can do place items baseline. So place item center works. And how to do is placed properly there, and we might need some padding on each of the hairline, just small padding button to make the hairline good. So here the hairline, I want to add display of legs, and you want to place items to have center, and this should work. And you also want to give the hairline padding bottom of like 5 pixel. Let's do 4 pixel, and so yeah, that should do. And yeah, so if you do it to do one again to do, so we have that small padding, and I think there's an alignment to be on. There's a UL style none. Oh, that there's a, can't remember whether there's this alignment works here, but definitely this works. And then when you click on this, you can update, and enter does the updating, and you can update this, update, and it works right there. So you double tap, brings us into edit, double tap, brings us into edit, and yeah, we are able to click. There's another bug that I noticed. So on the place items is not working, so I want to do on this li, so when you when you finish the place item, where's the place item? There's a place item. Yeah, this is not being applied. Place events. Place events. So another And when we are editing here, still not working. Dancing. You. It should not allow you to click Use place event where to be working. Pointer event. Pointer event none. Oh my god. To do one, to do two, right? So you have updated, right? While we're updating, this should not allow us to click. So because whenever you click on this, it triggers like an unblur. So updated, we can we can stop the unblur and call the blur programmatically. But it's a wave. You can decide which one you want to really do. But at least if you click on this, it doesn't delete the to do, right? It just takes you click it. It factors the unblur in, and the unblur just does like a cancel, so it doesn't allow anything to happen. And yeah, so eventually if we I think I can align this button as well, this run test and this. So if you do a display, where's the display here that we are doing? We're doing a display flex. So display flex, instead of doing this justify, right, you can just I think we can place content to be center. If it works, I'm not sure whether it will work, but doesn't work. Is it place items? Okay, and I need a gap. A gap of 4 pixel. Gap of 4 pixel, and you want to do this. So yeah, that really is this button here. And so the beautiful thing with this run test is that if I run this test now, it sort of like runs through all the JavaScript code that we have. That is, it will first get the app. After it gets the app, gets the form. After it gets the form, it gets the input and the add button. And yeah, it does the unchange and the unclick. And yeah, so it took the computer 26,000, that's like 26 seconds basically, because this is 26 seconds to do this. And you can see now that all the to-dos here, the 1,000 to-dos are listed here right there. And you can delete anyone you want to delete. Yeah, we should be able to. Are we able to delete? Okay. We're not able to delete because of the pointer null. The pointer null is not removing itself. So what would have done is that after there's a point where we're setting. So here, the cancel. Where's the cancel? Here, I think cancel the edit and reset the style. So what we can do is, instead of doing this cheap thing here, I can cut this whole process, bring this whole process here, do this, and reset the style. I think so. I can do X. I can do reset styles, and you want to do X dot. So it's pointer. So you should have these dancing coding, and now we should be able to delete now. Updated, and we should be able to delete easily here. So we can again run this. So it does, like, it's running through a loop of 1000 elements. It's runs through a loop of 1000 elements. It gets the form, gets the input, gets the button, then create some text content on the value, and yeah, it fires a change event. After the change event, it fires the, what's it called now, it fires the click event to add, and that's why you have all these there, and you can manually delete this one after the other, and this is it, and you can update anyone, right? And it all works good. So the test ran for, I mean, that's 26 seconds. So you see that you can really test your app, via the clicking thing there. And I can also do like the whole deleting of this whole thing, because what happened here is that I am creating this here. This is the creation of the delete here, and this is the creation of the loops here, and yeah, we are updating with this loop here. So basically, I think we can, after we've done the updating, we can carry out this process here, this entire process. I mean, we can do that to save us the loop, to save us from running the loop multiple times, but it's also possible. I mean, another thing we can do is we can still leave it this way and create another loop entirely, right? To delete all the to do in another loop. So you can do this, right? So for each, right, get each of the to do, get the last element, and dispatch a click there. So we can save this, and yeah, let's see this. Let's just run this. So the idea is this will let it also understand the performance implication of your JavaScript on your HTML, and how sometimes vanilla JavaScript is not so performant in the way it is, just because it has a lot of jargons inside that you're not using. So this run for 27 seconds. Yeah, 27 seconds. So you can see that you're not seeing any to do again here, because it is actually deleting the whole thing by itself, and it is telling us the number of minutes that it's used to run. So basically, that is the major thing here. This is the line that is doing the trick here, right? You have this thing prepended to the body here. We have the style here. This is why it is anchored, because it is fixed. Then we have the on click. Anytime they click the button, create this start, then call this beautiful function called to do. So if you want to see what this to do app is doing, this to do app gets the app, right, using this beautiful method. Now it gets the form using this method, and it also like creates a loop of 1000 to set the first to do. We also create another loop to update that to do, right? This is another loop to update that to do. So here in the updating of that to do, we get a single to do, right, from the li. And when you get the li, you perform a double click. When you perform a double click, you just add updated. And when you add updated, you do some trick here to dispatch this event with this object of the sign. So what you're just adding here is that we're creating a new event called key down, right? And you're adding enter key using object of the sign. So another thing you can do is you can just, instead of creating a new key, you can just create a new keyboard event, which I don't want to do that, but it's just cool to learn this trick here. And also here we have like a test or console.login. We also have this test to check if there is no updated in the to do. If there is no to updated in the text content, just throw this new error. So it's not showing this new error anymore. And when we're done, again, create another loop of 1000 records and delete the to do, right? That is to do that last event, the dispatch event. So the idea is to just see some crazy out of the world thing that you can do with your JavaScript, and that's all I'm just showing you with this. And I mean, look at it here. You have a app here, and you can run this here. It's just beautiful to for you to know how your app is doing. You can get the performance. You can you can always, get how many seconds it takes for your app to run, right? You can always get that. So that is basically all the stuff I was trying to do at the latter end of the class there. So it ran this time around for 25 seconds. So you know that it's between 25, 26, 27 seconds to carry out the whole operation using 1,000 records. So you can play with 10,000, play with 500, play with 200 to see how many minutes it's going to take you to do that. So again, in today's class, the major thing we added was that we have these we first added this remove, which was like a very simple functionality. But when we got a bit to this edit, right here, we first created this key down. So this key down, right, we have a switch statement that is going to be switching between event.key. If it is enter, right, you want to do this console.log enter key. So it is setting so these things you can break it down into like, so what you're doing is you are doing something like this. This is the first thing you're doing. You're doing this and edit input dot value. So instead of doing this in 2 times on 2 lines, right, you can just do setting it on 3 lines. That's what basically setting it on 3 lines does. And then once you have escape, you can blow out of it and cancel. So another thing is after cancel, right, you are replacing, anytime you place cancel, you're replacing back. And you also set, because this will return true, right, because it has done this, you're setting the true to the disabled so that the X button that was disabled before will not be disabled again. And since we were adding some style, right, which is a cursor, and we're adding pointer events, so you are resetting those styles as well. So here we'll create the edit input itself, right, with this style, this key down, this value, and this on blur, right. You do the replace, right, you do a focus, and you do you disable this, right, and you do the style here. And this is part of our making of the to-do initially, and you return all these items. So this is basically the full stretch of the to-do, right? You can update this by maybe adding maybe a Firebase, or add, what else can you add? You can add local storage like somebody suggested during the class. And I mean, you can just play around with all these tricks here. So another thing is, I feel that this is another thing that I think, based on my observation, I feel like this query selector is more expensive than this one here. So, because I disabled the H1 here so that to make my form the first child, but I mean, it's still part of like our learning process. Our H1 should be visible here, all things being equal. Yeah. So if you run your test here, let's see. I know it should come back like 27 or 28 now, because I feel like the query selector is expensive. So again, the idea is to let you understand your JavaScript, understand what is expensive, understand what are critical, how the JavaScript you write impact the performance in your browser, right? And yeah, basically, okay, it came back lesser. You see, it came back with 24. So you can see that using query selector does not really impact the code as against to what I thought. So yeah, so that is that about me showing you this. And let's go to Firefox that we were using earlier to also test this, right? So you can see it logging all the to do, right? Logging the to do, firing the enter event, and yeah, it's just beautiful to know that you can do all these things. So here, I'm not doing the clicking manually. I also still wrote a JavaScript code to do the clicking manually. And look at this now. So look at JavaScript use, your Firefox use 17 seconds. So that's another thing you should note. Since JavaScript was a little bit faster, and I think I want to try it inside Edge to just see the performance inside Edge. Edge and Chrome are the same thing. So I feel it should be around the same performance. So yeah, you're getting your performance. You're also doing a test, which is beautiful. honestly, because it's just JavaScript and you can just do anything you want to do there. So I believe, though I also think that the console.log is also impacting our record, right? So that's some nice optimization there. So Edge also used 17 seconds. Why is Chrome different? Everybody's using 17 seconds. So why is Chrome different? So I hope you've learned a lot, because this is a lot for your brain to comprehend. But I hope that the way I'm pushing your brain in terms of JavaScript is going to really be helpful for you to, to sort of understand performance, understand writing tests, that is even using JavaScript to carry out the test. So yeah, Chrome is within 24, 25, 26, 27, and Firefox and Edge stays within 17 seconds. So because it's brilliant to see. It's brilliant to see. Maybe because I am using Chrome for this streaming, and that's taking a toll on Chrome in terms of performance as well. But I hope you've understood, like you've been able to understand some of the things I did into this class, right? Especially the debugging part of all I did into this class. So yeah, thank you so much, and see you in the next class, right? Yeah.